There's nothing I can say or want to say about 2020 that hasn't already been said. It's been a tough year for pretty much everyone. I mean, it goes without saying. The Billy rework was completely unnecessary, and the spirit still hasn't been nerfed. Tough year. Dumb jokes aside though, Dead by Daylight has gone through a lot of changes this year. Hit validation, 60 tick, 4 new killers, map reworks. There have been many wins and also many missteps. I've had to take 2 breaks from it this year for the first time ever after particularly egregious or confusing design choices and updates. Although I'm happy to say that I'm reasonably satisfied with the game as it is right now. So let's take a look into 2021 and what we can expect and hope for. By the way, these are all based on the Q&A livestream, which I had on December 4th. Go and check that out for more detail. So, perks. We spoke a little bit about Bloodlust previously, and the change in kill percentages was only around 2% at most, which is apparently pretty usual for a weekend.
And there was like a 1 to 2% difference in kill rates. Bloodlust weekend was actually very similar to other weekends in terms of kill rates.
As Bloodlust has been re-enabled and it didn't make much of a difference to any of the kill rates, it's unlikely that that will be getting messed with again. There's a suggestion in the Q&A that Decisive Strike will be getting looked at too, but they're super vague over what that means exactly.
It's not perfect yet, so this is still something that we talk about. We would like to do something about the more abusive side of it. Players who use it as only kind of an invincibility shield to like pester killers, perhaps more than intended.
The Cloud will be getting a rework in the next update. They teased this work in progress that shows different bottle types which seem to cancel each other out. Next up, the devs have their eyes on the Huntress too, specifically switching about add-ons and her perks and increasing the number of iridescent add-ons in her repertoire.
The Huntress is getting an add-on pass. She's the last killer remaining with an incorrect number of the different rarities. Notably, she's only got 1 iridescent.
Which no doubt will create interesting new ways to play. Please nerf Eerie Heads. Demogorgon will be getting a fine-tuned pass to increase power.
It's not going to be a major update. We're pretty happy with the idea of having Shred. We would just want to give him some extra power.
And several tweaks will be coming to the Wraith, hinting at true invisibility.
This is not like a big killer rework or anything, but there are a couple of tweaks coming to the Wraith. I'll just leave the small tease of true invisibility.
Freddy will be getting an update this year, although they're wary of him already being in the top in terms of kill stats, so that might take the form of a nerf, please no. And finally, the Blight's camera will be getting moved up, with the first person animations all getting changed. Onto maps. Map RNG is going to be vastly improved. Their focus for this is on consistency and eliminating dead zones.
Our newer system has more consistency across the entire map, which should hopefully help eliminate dead zones.
The team are aware of the lack of new maps recently too, and with the reworks approaching an end, it's likely that we'll see at least a couple of new maps by this time next year. So the big changes in the next year aren't necessarily going to be systems, which they seem pretty happy with, but perks, killers, and maps. The only thing that's really left out here is an explanation as to how ranks are going to proceed. In the 2019 roadmap, we were shown that they were going to be working on an all-new method of player progression, completely separate from ranks. You may recall a few months back, they completely turned off ranks entirely. You still ranked up, but it didn't factor into who you got matched with, and it was an absolute disaster. That's something that we might expect them to be talking about more in the new year, or it might just be an idea that they've completely dropped. We're not too sure. All of the updates to killers are very, very welcome, as well as finally getting some new maps for a bit more variety. Although, to be fair, the map reworks have often felt like entirely new maps. So what would you guys do? If you could plan out the next year of Dead by Daylight, what would that look like? What would you change that isn't on this list? Let me know in the comments. And happy Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.